Protests are continuing in Milwaukee 2 days after police shot dead a 23-year-old African-American man named Sylville Smith. On Sunday, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker activated the National Guard after local residents set fire to police cars and several local businesses, including a gas station, Saturday night. 17 people were arrested, 4 police officers reportedly injured. Last night, 2 police were reportedly injured, and 1 person was hospitalized after being shot by an unknown assailant. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett spoke out on Sunday.
Last night was unlike anything I have seen in my adult life in this city. I hope I never see it again. For every member of this police department, it was unlike anything that they had seen in their career. For every member of the fire department, it was unlike anything they had seen in their entire career.
The Milwaukee Police Department is defending its use of force in the case of Sylville Smith. Police say he was shot while trying to flee from an officer who'd stopped his car. Police Chief Edward Flynn said he had viewed video from the officer's body camera that hasn't been released. It showed Smith had turned toward him with a gun in his hand after the traffic stop, he said. Many local residents said the tension between their community and the police has been rising for years. Milwaukee's considered to be one of the most segregated cities in the country. On Saturday, a man identifying himself as the brother of Sylville Smith spoke to the local Milwaukee station, CBS 58.
Right now, you got a city riot going on because, once again, the police has failed to protect us like they say they was going to do. They failed to be here for the people like they say they sworn in to do. You know, and us as a community, we're not going to protect ourselves. But if we don't have anyone to protect us, then this is what you get. You know, you get riots. You got people out here going crazy. We losing loved ones every day to the people that's sworn in to protect us. It's other stuff that's going on out here, and you wonder why it's ISIS in America.
Sedan, certainly people upset here tonight, but we've got, innocent business owners who are now going up in flames. What's it going to take for you guys to be okay tonight and to stop this chaos?
It ain't me. It's not me. I'm going to let y'all know that now. It's not us guys neither. And I'm glad that y'all said that. It's not us. It's the police. This the madness that they spark up. This is what they encourage. This is what they provoke. This is what you get out of you taking a loved one from someone. This is what you get. You get a lot of people that's hurt, and they can't vent the right way. They can't no longer depend on the police to be here to protect us like they say they're going to do. So this is what you get. And no, it's not going to end today. I can't tell you it's going to end tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to end. But it's for y'all to start. We're not the ones that's killing us. Y'all killing us. We can't make a change if y'all don't change.
That was Sedan Smith speaking to CBS 58. Smith said he's the brother of Sylville Smith, the 23-year-old man killed by Milwaukee police on Saturday. For more, we go to Milwaukee, where we're joined by Muhib Dyer. He's a community activist, a poet, co-founder of the organization Flood the Hood with Dreams. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Muhib. Can you talk us through the weekend? What happened Saturday night and about the community response?
How are you doing, Ms. Goodman? And it's a pleasure to be on Democracy Now! Today. Well, I mean, as you can see, on the surface level, and I had the opportunity to be out there last night. You see what appears to be complete chaos. Gas stations are being burned. You see individuals riding around, hanging out of cars. In some cases, gunshots everywhere. You see the police, in some cases, taking very provocative stances, provoking certain incidences amongst peaceful demonstrators at times. And then on the other hand, you see anger, just the anger and the frustration of a community that has suffered atrocities and oppression on behalf of what they deem to be the police oppressive system that has never seemingly been held accountable for taking the life of, like the young man said, of their loved one. So when you put that all together, it becomes a powder keg, and it's the explosion, metaphorically, that you get that's going on in Milwaukee today.
So talk about what you understand took place on Saturday night with the police killing of Sylville Smith.
What I understand now, I mean, is various vantage points, of course, various stories. But what the police are saying, what you reported, is that a young man was stopped in a routine traffic stop, I suppose, and he fled an officer, and he fled from an officer, and what happened was at some point he turned his pistol towards the officer, and the officers say that they justifiably shot him. The reports that's coming out of the community is that it's the exact opposite. Some are saying the young man was unarmed and he had no gun on him at all. Some are saying that the young man had a gun and he was hopping over a fence, and as he hopped over a fence, the gun fell, and he picked up the gun to throw it over the fence, and the officer shot him in the back. So to put it in a nutshell, we don't know. We're going to have to wait for the videotape to be released. So everything now is speculation, and it's the police word against the community's word.
Why haven't the police released the video cam of the officer and the officers who were involved in his killing?
I don't know, ma'am. They say this is their procedure. That it takes time for them to be able to sort through things while they're doing their own investigation. The reality of the situation that we're seeing in Milwaukee and all over the United States of America is that the community is very frustrated and very upset in terms of what's going on, because you always have situations where African-American males are being killed, and then you have the police department taking their time, releasing their facts, and whether you catch something on videotape, and I guess this is the sentiment of the community, whether it's on videotape or whether it's eyewitnesses, we never get our day in court. We never get our day in court. Police officers are never held accountable for the murders of African-American males. It's always justifiable homicide. They release these reports talking about the character of an individual, which really, I think, creates the condition for public opinion to say, okay, yes, he deserved it. You know, he had a lengthy police record. He deserved it. He was a thug. He was a criminal. He deserved it. So I think they build public opinion to such an extent where homicide, like I said before, the homicide of police officers on African-American males always seems to be justified. And they never really talk about what happened in that actual event. They don't separate the actual event from the person's character, I guess.
Milwaukee has been described as the most segregated city in America. You grew up there, Muhib. Can you talk about your city?
Yes, I can. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, you know, we lead the nation in many of what they say the most critical statistics in this country. You know, we have the fourth highest rate of poverty amongst all cities in America. One statistical poll said we also are said to have the second highest segregation rate in this country. We have one of the highest incarceration rates amongst African Americans in this country. The school dropout rate is off the charts. So with all of this going on, and The factories have closed and the economic plight of the city has gone down. Growing up in Milwaukee always felt like this was a place of extreme despair. Some good people, very talented individuals who are striving to make a difference, but that's juxtaposed with the reality that accomplishment or prosperity or the sense of upward mobility amongst the people is a very difficult place. And what's going on, I think, being played out in the streets today is that you have these young people who feel the hopelessness and who feel the despair, and they want something different. But like the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, that violence is the language of the unheard. How is violence the language of the unheard? He said that America is not listening to the yearnings of freedom and justice, the desire of freedom and justice. And what is America not paying attention to? Dr. Martin Luther King said that white people, for the most part, are so preoccupied with tranquility and status quo that they are missing the point that freedom and justice and equality are not being met out. And this is Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's police department has a long history of distrust by the black community. Tensions flared in 1991 as Milwaukee police were accused of turning a blind eye as serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer targeted primarily African-American, Latino, and Asian boys, who was ultimately convicted of 15 murders in Wisconsin. His story chronicled in the documentary The Jeffrey Dahmer Files. This is Dahmer's former neighbor, Pamela Bass, talking about the outcry.
My sister called my mother. She said, look at TV. Isn't this Pamela's building in Milwaukee?
Public outcry followed, accusing police of racism and insensitivity to gays.
And she saw all the swarm of people around me, so she knew that I can't get to her. And I remember I finally got through to her on the phone. She told me, don't watch TV, Pamela. Don't read none of this.
As chief, both I and the entire department must accept responsibility for the inadequate
it was just,
May 27th.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this thing. The city of Milwaukee, to me, just lost. They care nothing about the black community as a whole. They weren't showing it back then.
That was Pamela Bass, the neighbor of Jeffrey Dahmer, speaking in the documentary The Jeffrey Dahmer Files. Muhib Dyer, how does what happened with Jeffrey Dahmer affect the way people see what happens in Milwaukee? And then, of course, in 1981, there was Ernest Lacey, who was put in a police car, taken by police. They were just cruising downtown, the police, and he ends up dead in the back of the police car.
Well, you know, like I said, it just contributes to what we saw Saturday night and last night, Sunday night. You have a history of, like you said, Ernie Lacey, and you have Daniel Bell all the way up to a couple years ago, and Dontre Hamilton. You have all of these names of individuals who have been murdered by the police. And to my knowledge, they've never been convicted of or held accountable for their actions. And a fallback argument all across America every time a police officer murders an African American is, you all kill each other every night. There is black on black crime every night. Like, that's the scapegoat argument. But ultimately, when black people kill black people, accountability happens. Black people go to jail. And, you know, the thing is, well, why are there not more rioting when violence happens in the African-American community? Because black people go to jail. Black people are held accountable. Black people are given sentences of homicide where they have to be held accountable for the actions that they take. But when you have individuals, like the young man said, who are supposed to protect and serve, and they come in and they kill you, and there is never any convictions, then the sentiment is that we can't get justice. We can't get justice.
Can you tell us what your T-shirt says?
My T-shirt says the I Will Not Die Young campaign. And this is an organization. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
The I Will Not Die Young campaign.
I want for you to end, because I know you have to go teach, with your poem. You are not only a community activist, co-founder of the organization Flood the Hood with Dreams, but you are also a poet. Can you share a poem with us today?
Yes, ma'am. And this, I hope, gives the listeners a understanding of the feeling of the despair of a young person that exists in Milwaukee. I want you to see beyond the bottles being thrown. I want you to see beyond the anger and see a young man on his hands and knees looking up to the heavens, not knowing if God exists, on a street called Burleigh in Milwaukee. And he says, "It's like I'm sitting in a jail cell, Lord, listen to me. It's like I'm sitting in a jail cell, God, listen to me. It's like I'm sitting in a jail cell, Lord, with invisible bars, waiting on death row, counting down the days because I know they coming. You see, I know they coming, them police, them jealous dudes and chicks. They all coming, and it wasn't supposed to be like this. You see, Lord, they never told me you were in me. They never told me you were always there. So in turn, I believed what I saw, and what I saw was a daddy that was never around and a mama that was always crying because we were always broke when there was money outside. And rats and roaches and pissy mattresses me and my brother slept on when there was money outside, and teachers that told me I had to wait 12 years to get paid. You see, my teachers told me I had to wait 12 years to get paid, while all of them got paid off of me right now, whether I learned or not, when there was money outside. And what else was I supposed to do? They never told me you were in me, God. They never told me you were always there. And how was I supposed to know that being created in your image and your likeness meant that if you made the earth, Lord, I can make my own business? And if you made the sun, I can make more than just babies. More than just babies, but buildings and networks, and that busting guns was the only way to get access to your power, Lord. And shaking these dudes down on the block for this dope money was not the only way to get access to your power, Lord. How was I supposed to know? And how was I supposed to know that downing shots of Hennessy and smoking weed wasn't the only way to accept this and get to heaven, that I could have got down on all fours and talked to you, Lord? They never told me you were in me. They never told me you were always there. And how was I supposed to know that every time mama was like, stay in school, baby, stay off those streets, that was you, Lord? And every misdemeanor charge you ever beat, that was you, Lord. Every felony charge you ever beat, that was you, Lord. And when those bullets missed me, when I was on the block doing wrong, that was you, Lord. And when my boy laid in that casket, cold and lifeless, that was like you was trying to tell me he would be me if I didn't change. And now I'm falling. My time is up. I know they coming. And I don't even know if you listen to kids like us, Lord. Do you even care about kids like us, Lord? But I know now what I should have known then. And it took me to fall to see the light. You were always in me. You were always there. Forgive me, Lord, for I knew not what I was doing to myself. Please send me somebody, a voice, maybe from across the nation, a sympathetic voice that understands that I need to be taught something that I've never been taught before. Please send me someone, anybody in humanity that can teach me to love me. Teach me to love me. Teach me to love me.